Sure.
Okay guys, so this week we're gonna do a lot of guard passing. All sorts of guard passing. Open guard, closed guard, butterfly guard, half guard, this guard, that guard. I'm gonna go over a lot of little things. I'm gonna go over some big things. Let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna start by doing more of an open guard pass. Open guard pass meaning maybe I have broken her guard, I'm standing, she's on bottom. We're gonna go over a couple different situations that I think is essential to learn how to pass guard just in general, okay? So first, I'm gonna hold the inside the legs. I like to hold the gi, and this is just gonna be a drill. I'm gonna hop to this side, shoulder in her solar plex. I'm gonna stand back up. I'll hop to this side, shoulder in the solar plex. Notice I'm controlling the pants the entire time. It's easy to switch this hand to the outside, this hand to the inside, and come side mount. Next, I'm gonna practice just some simple ideas here. To knee on belly, hands out on the knees, one leg steps out, the other leg kicks straight back, comes alongside the leg, the knee's gonna come on the belly. And right now when I knee on belly, I like to bring one knee to the belly and I like to bring this one leg up. Let's not try to post the hands on the ground anywhere. Let's keep the hands right on the shoulders once again. Then sometimes I'm here and they start to keep their legs closed. Maybe I'm forcing her legs closed. I'm gonna come over the top. Once again, hands to the shoulders. When I jump over the tops of the knees, I don't wanna land with my hands on the mat. I wanna be upright. If I land with my hands onto the mat, she can control my base and maybe oompa me to right side or left side. So when I do so, definitely like to keep these legs together, throwing my hips over the mat. Upright, hands to the shoulders, then maybe I sink my base. We can come grapevine, I can cross the feet, maybe knees high in the armpits. Next, from right here, she keeps her legs open, the legs are spread. I think it's really easy to jump in the middle of the two. When you come between the legs here, look how my feet are still caught, okay? So, once again, I don't necessarily like putting my base out high. However, I think I'm a little too more over the top to go to her shoulders. So I'll put them out for a second. Now from here, I bring one knee in and take it out, and I like to play this knee on belly. And notice whenever I have both my knees together, I can always swivel my feet over to the side, coming right back to this position as soon as possible. This position meaning not keeping the hands on the mat. So one more time, we're through the middle. That's the idea for those open guard passes right now. Okay guys, now just a quick review of the 3 passes that we've been working. I just want to go over them just to get it out of the way, okay? We have the kid pass. That's one knee in between the hip, elbow staying in, this leg feeding behind. I'm opening up the legs with my elbows right here. I'm going to come in with both my hands. I hold, I sit up straight, I lift her butt up off the mat. I'm going to keep this arm close. I'm not reaching for her lapel. My chest drops on her chest. This hand's going to come behind her neck, my shoulder in her face. And we come to side mount. Man pass. We figure out which leg's on top and bottom. The leg that's on top stands up. This leg has no support. I push it straight down. Now let's remember on these, I have her leg pinned, and I can come the back side, or I put that shoulder to the face, I hike my hip out, and I can come the front side, okay? So let's always remember, when it comes to pinning the leg, we'll always have back side, and then we always have front side. And it's just always the same, shoulder to the face, hand grabbing the shoulder. I like keeping this hand on this side right now in case if they try to readjust. I could just push into her hip on both knees. Maybe I could put one down once I come to the side mount, the gable grip, and everything's solid. And then the last pass that we've been working on, we have that standing pass. One side grabs the lapel, other hand grabs the sleeve, elbow back. This side that I stand up first with my leg is the arm that I'm controlling, that way they can't attack. I put a lot of pressure down on the solar plex. I'm looking up the entire time. I shake, I push one knee down, Now since I have this arm controlled, I like to switch it off, and I'll always pass the outside. Let's remember, once we pass the outside, I could always pass this off to the gift wrap. There's just lots of things that we can do. One of the things we were working on was passing this lapel right here, controlling the leg, sitting, becoming bow and arrow. But it could be as simple as that sideways cross choke, and or that arm triangle situation. Okay guys, so now for 2 new close guard passes, okay? Maybe a little more complex, however, they're very effective, okay? And I've been using them for a long time. I have people used to do them to me. I like to name my moves after the people that I've come into contact with that actually made me believe in the moves. So this first move, I like to call the McKee. It's named after Antonio McKee, and he's really great at this idea of pass. Let's go over it now, okay? So I call this the McKee because he always would be able to pass your hand behind your back. So let's say I'm in guard, maybe I step this leg up, this person goes underneath, I catch the wrist, I sit back down. Now I'm able to pin that wrist into the mat. When I do this, I like to put my head facing the opposite way of the arm I'm controlling. And when I do that, I step my legs up and I start walking towards that hand, and it forces her hand behind her back, and I'm able to pass it off right here, okay? So now, the McKee, we're gonna sit back square with this person. My arm at this point in time is gonna come on the inside of the stomach and armpit, and my hip heist out. From right here, you may be slightly vulnerable, but this is like her leash. I'm able to keep her in control by this arm. From here, I like to pass this arm off, okay? So I have this hand pass off and it's tight, okay? I'm controlling them with it. Now, I start pushing the knee, and when I'm pushing the knee, I'm not scooting my butt out, I'm scooting it up. And if you can see, I'm sitting on top of her leg right now, and I push, and I'm gonna slide. I come to here, this hand comes behind the leg. I'm able to keep a side mount. If you notice her hands behind the back, something that you could work right here could be like a north-south choke. Also something that I really enjoy is once this hand's trapped, we could always sit up, we could hit a baseball bat choke this way, we could hit it with the gi as well, this way too. Now arm trap behind the back just makes it hard for her to defend. Now, very similar to that move, I call this the hybrid. Starts off just like the McKee, but the difference between the hybrid and the McKee starting off is my arm isn't going to underneath her armpit. Once I grab her wrist and I stay to this side, I'm going to bring this arm straight across to her head. So I'm never resetting. My weight staying forward, I keep forward. Now I use this elbow to start to bring her head into my body, and then I lift my legs, and see how I'm using this knee? I use this knee to block her hip. Now I lay my weight straight down as if her knee is going to knee herself in the face. Once I do this, the lock's usually broken by the feet. And if it isn't, you can use this hand to break. And then what I do is I step this leg around, and then I slide backwards. Once I slide backwards, my hip should be below the knee on that calf. I lay my legs flat, pinning her leg. So even if she wants like a half guard right now, it's tough. I'm going to walk and slide straight off. And then once again, I end up in the same position. This hand's here, I have this hand here. We can do something like this. We could do something like that. And that's a wrap. Okay guys, so now let's work into two pretty basic half guard passes. One of them is really fundamental, something we're always going to, basically these two passes you're always going to use. I have one which is the classic, okay? So she has me in the half guard. And of course I'm in half guard, maybe I'm trying to lay her flat, so I have this stable grip. Maybe this hip's low, maybe that knee's in, maybe it's out here. Doesn't matter, my shoulder's controlling her chin, the chest is flat. Now from this move, I'll hold the opposite safe side shoulder of the leg that I have in. I'll bring my head to the opposite side, and I'm going to walk up on my toes, okay? When I'm here, I have my shoulder pushing into her chin. I'll control her knee with this leg, and I'll cut my leg across this way. When I do, I still am vulnerable right here. Something they may do is try to push my hip, something like that. So maybe at this point in time, I control this arm, and I'm going to use my leg to kick her leg off me here. And I'm just going to end up right back in that side mount position, okay? So the second pass we're going to use, I call the 95. And this is what I try to use all the time. And there's a lot of fight within the fight that keeps my opponent busy, so they're not able to, you know, execute their arsenal these days when I have them pinned flat, let's say. You have all these guys, they do the lockdown and the this and that, and they have a full and total offensive from when they are flat. So I really like this pass because you really can't keep them flat if they're locking up the legs. So when I do this move, the 95, it kind of keeps my leg out of position for these guys to start running that game, okay? So we go half guard, and I do my job. Let's say I pin them flat and I control them. But now I need to move on. So when I start this, usually I like to grab on the shoulder here and a lot of pressure on her face. In her face, it's essential that her chin's looking away from me. Can't be looking into me because her body will move the way her face looks, and then she'll be able to sweep into me. So I have a lot riding on the fact that this shoulder's in her face. Now from here, I come off my hip, and I'm going to raise my legs, my foot flat with my knee to the ceiling. So typically when you come to this 95 position, they reset their leg right up on top, okay? So when I come to here, they have half guard. When I start working the 95, my knee will come up. And notice when my foot's right here, it's really hard for them to lock down. So that's the idea, is I have them flat, and then I don't want them to get comfortable. I push this knee here. Let's say they readjust. Then when they readjust, I push this off, and I bring this knee over the top. Now she's still going to have half guard, of course. So then once I've to the 95, I go right back to the classic. I put this arm on the same side that has half guard. I bring this head on the opposite side. I'm going to walk my hips straight up to my tippy toes. Now I'm going to swivel once again my hips to the outside. And notice how much pressure my shoulder has on her face. It's her head that's keeping me balanced. I swivel this hip to this side. I kick those hips to that side. And I come right out side mount, right back to this side. So the two, they're very similar, have two different points and times to use them, and they're very effective. Classic half guard passing technique. Boom. Okay guys, now to finish up on these guard passing scenarios, we're gonna go over passing the butterfly guard. I have 3 really effective ways that I like to use. I wanna go over them real quick, okay? So I'm on the butterfly guard here. Most of the time, I don't want to be flat like this, so I'll take the weight up off my butt and they start moving me around, playing my base and leverage, and let's say things like this. So I go butterfly guard. One, I like to kind of be upright, and I like to smash my elbows into her legs and keeping my hip tight to her feet, just for the idea that she can't extend her legs. So I have her real nice and compact in here, okay? And when I'm in here, I like to kick one leg back, and I catch one of her foot in between both of my legs and my hip. Now when I do this, I do like to stay upright, okay? And I'm pinning here, but I have to work. I step this leg out, and I'm once again smashing her leg with my hip here, like a lobster claw, okay? Once I'm to this position, I take this outside arm, my feet into her neck, and I'll work my hip off into this position, heist it off, the shoulders in her face, and go right around to this side mount, okay? Move number 2. I find myself to here, and I'm trying to maintain, okay? I'm trying to keep this tight, but this person, they're gonna fight to be able to get that distance in between their legs so they can actually use them, okay? So when I'm in this position, she starts kicking out, and there becomes a separation in between our bodies just a bit. I like to take both my arms out at that point in time, and I put both of them underneath. Now, when I do this move, I want you to notice how I maintain this posture every time. My head's going to stay up. It's never going to come down. I am vulnerable. This person could sit up and do a guillotine. So that being said, I don't want to wait out here, and I'm never going to put my head down. As long as my head stays up, she'll never be able to sit up to guillotine. So from this position, my hands go flat in. I'm going to walk my legs away. Once I walk them away, I bring my knees in. And just like when we pin and pass from the full guard, I'm going to pull her up by her thighs. I bring her butt up on my hip. I curl her over the top of her lower back. And I'm going to slide off the side, keeping this hand really tight to the chest, sliding it out behind. This hand's behind right here, keeping her hip from going back in. Ice that hip back up, and boom, side mount. Now last thing, is let's say I'm in this situation right here. I have butterfly, I want to stay up, I'm pushing the hips in, but the person keeps breaking me down. Maybe they're pulling my head, maybe they're pulling my arm. I'm just not comfortable being up in posture. Okay, so now maybe we have butterfly guard, maybe the hands are in the armpits, I don't want to give her much, I keep her close, and I'm going to pick a side to go to. So whatever side I put my head on, my body's going to come off the opposite side. And when I do this, I'm going to jump like I'm going towards her head in that direction. Just a little bit off center from being completely north-south. Notice how my hip is up. Notice how I land on my feet. And notice how I control both these legs right here. From this position, I'll just heist my hip back in my knees controlling underneath both of her legs. It's like I'm covering a double. Once I'm from this position, I'll lead this right behind the head again, shoulder in the face. Make sure this knee comes underneath her armpit. And we're back to side mount. Guys, thank you very much. That's kind of just like the ABCs of guard passing. A little bit from top, a little closed guard, a little bit of open guard, some half guard, some butterfly guard. It's guard all day. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoy. Bye.